Hello, everyone. My name is Lee May, and I am an RFX achiever out of Little Rock, Arkansas. So honored to be with you guys today. And again, like everyone else on this page, excited to congratulate you for starting your business. And my hat is certainly off to you. So congratulations and welcome. I'm really thrilled because I have the opportunity to talk to you guys today about one of my favorite topics, and that is objections. And a lot of people don't necessarily love objections, and often it's because it throws us off our game, right? When you're talking to a prospect and everything is going great, and you might be thinking in your mind like, oh dear Lord, I really sincerely hope that they don't ask this particular question. If they ask that question, I would just die. And so it makes people really nervous, and sometimes those questions cause us to just, kind of get off topic and lose where we are in the conversation and whatnot. So I really hope that you'll listen to this training and you'll start to think about objections differently, because really objections are something that's really, really great, because here's the first thing it does. Number one, it invites real conversations with the prospect, right? And whether or not they're going to be a good fit for this business. If your prospect is saying nothing in response to you, that's not so great. You've got nothing to work with. But if she's raising an objection to you, then you know that she's thinking about it, and there's something that you can explain further and help her get past. The second thing is that, like I said, they show that the prospect is interested enough to ask a question. That is huge. The third is it begins a training process. And it also shows your prospects that objections are something that can be overcome, right? And she's probably going to deal with the same thing as she begins her business. So that's huge. And educating people about this business is so much fun. And in talking to people and in going through objections with prospects, you're going to learn a lot about them. Oftentimes, you're going to learn what their why is as part of those objections. So I really encourage you to think differently about it, and to really think of objections as an opportunity for you, and an opportunity to move your prospect on throughout this process. So I have a lot of notes I like to look down, so just so you know. The most important thing to remember, though, with objections is we never get defensive about it, and we don't go in convincing mode. So our job is not to convince anybody of anything. Our job is to provide people with facts and to give them the most information so that they can make a really informed decision on whether or not this business is right for them or not. Trying to dismiss their objections or trying to make their objections seem little or small, I think is really the wrong move, because if they're voicing a concern to you, then it's important to them, and it's something that is bothering them that needs to be addressed. And you never want to make them feel insecure or like they've asked a stupid question, or oh, how could they even think that? So you definitely don't want to take that approach with it. And one of the best ways to really handle an objection is to ask a clarifying question. And that's often because your prospect may not really understand exactly what her objection is. So I'm going to give you an example. Say, for instance, she says, well, I'm concerned about the money. And so your clarifying question is going to be, well, what is it about the money that you're concerned about? Is it the startup cost? Is it how much money you're going to make in the first month? Is it how you can get an immediate return on your investment? Kind of dive into those so that, one, you're answering the question appropriately, because I know you guys are like everybody else, time is a valuable commodity. Nobody has a lot of extra time these days. And so we don't want to waste people's time talking about the wrong thing that's not bothering them, right? So really make sure that you ask that clarifying question so you know exactly what it is about that topic that's bothering them. Because often, like I said, sometimes they don't understand the objection, or oftentimes they have incorrect assumptions. So by asking that question and kind of turning the objection back around, I always say objections are like a game of tennis, right? You're batting it back and forth until you really get to what it is that is bothering your prospect. Another thing that you're going to want to do is use the I understand how you feel. It's the feel, felt, found approach, right? So I understand how you feel about blank. I felt that way before, but here's what I found. Now, as you get better in this business and as you get better at handling objections, you may abandon that feel, felt, found, and you may turn it into like, oh, I totally get where you're coming from. I understand that, whatever your language is. And I want to take a moment here to talk about one thing that I think is really important because to me, the most important part of this business and the most valuable thing that you can do is always be who you are and be genuine and authentic, because ultimately people are joining this business because of you and what you're about. And so we always, you always want to lead with that. That's the most important thing. Objections are the one time that I would tell you to sit down and to look at the most common ones that people hear and memorize them. You're going to want to memorize the response, but then, of course, you're going to want to practice it so that when it comes out of your mouth, it sounds like you. But that is the good news about objections is, most of the time you're going to hear the same like 5 or 6 over and over again. And so it really gives you an opportunity to become very knowledgeable and to become very efficient and proficient at answering and handling those objections in a really, concise and with precision. And that's what you want to do, right? You don't want to waste people's time. We don't want to waste people's time. Your prospect doesn't want their time wasted, and you, frankly, don't want to waste yours. So you do really want to take some time to sit down and memorize objections and responses to objections and then make them yours. Really, I think that the very best resource for that is Romy's book, Get Over Your Damn Self. And I love the way that she answers the most common objections throughout here. One that all of us are going to hear is, I don't think I have enough time to do this. So the clarifying question, of course, is how much time do you think you need to start building your own business, right? And then you can talk about, you're looking for busy people. We've learned in this business that busy people actually do really well because they get things done. And, maybe in your experience, you felt the same way. And, you had a full plate and a full-time job and, kids or nieces and nephews or, whatever it is to take care of. And you weren't sure how you were going to fit this in. But, hey, this is how I did it. Take a listen to what I did and maybe it might work for you. So, you can kind of asking that clarifying question and then and being able to kind of back it up with a story is really helpful. A lot of times we'll also hear the objection of, I don't have the money to do this. And the clarifying question there is, if money wasn't an issue, would you jump in and build a business that could help you blank, blank, blank? And again, that's going to be taking them back to their why, right? And really give you an insight about what it is that they're looking for in this business. So the response there that I think is so great is, if you don't have time, if you don't have the money to invest in a business of your own that can grow additional income stream for you, it shows you just how badly you could use this. Do you have the investment amount on a credit card? If you do, we'll teach you how to make your investment back through product sales and growing your team. I'll keep you laser focused on income producing activity that will get a return on your investment. So, a lot of people also have the objection, I don't want to bother friends. And the clarifying question there, of course, is why do you think you'd be bothering friends, right? Like, that's not what we do. That's not what we're about. That's not our end game. We all treat this business professionally, and we run our businesses with respect and with integrity, and bothering friends and family is not what we're about, right? We share about products that we love and a business that can enhance or change lives. So, and a lot of people might have the objection, I don't know enough people. The clarifying question there is, well, how many people do you think that you need to know, right? I'm not a salesperson. And we say, why do you think you need a sales background for this? I'm not looking for salespeople. I'm looking for passionate people who share about things that they love. I'm looking for people who enjoy helping others. Does that sound like you? If it does, we can show you how to do that. So there's a couple of more, that you're going to want to kind of look through, and I'm sure you guys have a lot of resources in terms of, there's whole calls on objection training. So really what I kind of wanted to have the opportunity to talk to you about is just the importance of really listening to the objection, not being defensive, not going into, but this, but that, but let me tell you, blah, blah, blah. Really respect whatever their objection is, validate it, relate to it, say it back to them, and really have an empathetic and respectful response when you're talking about objections. Oftentimes, again, that's going to require you to to explore the reasoning, because sometimes the first objections that people have might not be their real objection, right? And so be willing to ask those clarifying questions and those exploratory questions that kind of dig a little deeper and get to the real objection that people are having. One of the other things I think that people hear a lot in our business is, well, our ingredients aren't all natural. And, I kind of respond to that by saying, nope, they're not. And, if you've gotten this from someone who's just absolutely determined to not use anything with active ingredients, that may be hard to overcome. But, I always say to people that our doctors have 50 years combined experience. They're adjunct professors at Stanford and the University of California, San Francisco. They still see dermatologists. They still see patients in their dermatologist's office outside of San Francisco. Safety is their utmost concern. And they are, not going to use an ingredient or something that's going to harm people. That's not their goal, right? And you can always kind of be funny about it too. If we could all mash up a banana and rub it on our faces, that would be great and prevent wrinkles and get rid of sunspots and all that other kind of stuff. But seeing that's not the case, if you really want to get results, you're going to need something that has active ingredients that's science-based and medically based. So, a couple of other things that you might want to think about is as you're going through, some people will say, oh, I don't know if I want to be in direct sales, right? And often people refer to this as kind of the yuck factor. And I always tell people, when I first looked at this opportunity, I didn't see a direct sales company. I saw a brilliant business plan with a brilliant business model. And the way people are doing business across the world is changing. And so our company is really sitting in a nice position for that. And you can always add, we're a company that's consistently recognized as being one that's best in business. And we're a different kind of direct sales company. We're a skincare company that chose the channel of direct sales, not a direct sales company that chose to sell skincare. Ours was a deliberate choice and made because it made the most sense and a vehicle to reach the most people in a global economy. We're the only brand-based opportunity that's out there right now, and that really makes Rodan & Fields unique. We have something that no one else in our space has. We have a product that stood the test of time that we know is going to sell because we've proven it. So, and you can always throw that back to, we spent time in high-end retail, and the doctors chose this channel with confidence because they knew that they could reach more people, get the product in more hands, and help people like you and me become successful entrepreneurs. And guess what? Along the way, we're getting to redefine the face of direct sales. Here's a snapshot of who I work with. And there's a great opportunity to either tell a story of someone that you work with or shoot them an example of someone that might have a similar background that they do from the Redefine blog. I think that's an awesome use and a really, really good way to handle objections is often by sharing someone else's story. And Rodan & Fields has done a beautiful job of setting that up for us. With the Redefine blog so that we can find, you can search by occupation. So it's another, really, really good tool to kind of have in your arsenal, right? As you're building your businesses. So I think that's all I have for you guys. I'm just looking through and making sure that I kind of got everything that I wanted to. And again, my biggest piece of advice is to really spend some time on looking at the most common objections, because like I said, that's the good news, is you hear the same thing often over and over again. And so the better prepared you are, and the more you've looked at that and the more you've practiced that, and by practice, you guys, I'm serious, like say it out loud. Really get it in your voice and who you are with your experience behind it. And, talk to your upline, talk to your crossline partner. If you have an accountability partner, talk to them, and you guys kind of go back and forth and practicing. Okay, she said this, or I got this the other day, and really utilize each other's knowledge and experience. I think that's so important. And that's one of the best things about our business is that we have that collaboration and wanting to help people be successful. So really take advantage of that. practice those objections, and then make them you, make them genuine, make them authentic. And I think you'll be sitting in a really, really nice position. So don't be afraid of the objections. Remember, it's a positive thing. Your prospect is talking to you. She's asking questions. She is not sitting dead silent with her, lips zipped. So that is a huge win. And that's a big step in the right direction. One other quick tip for you on objections. So oftentimes, as you begin utilizing three-way calls with your sponsor, you're going to know what your prospect objection is before you get on the call. That's a really, really important point to pass along to the person that's leading your three-way call, because it saves them a tremendous amount of time. And it also, and you and the prospect, it also allows them to be prepared, and so that they know, okay, well, her objection is time, or her objection is, money, whatever it is. And then they can really tailor the call specifically for that person, so that they make sure that they're answering the questions that she has and not talking about something that she doesn't have a problem or an issue with, okay? So congratulations again, and I wish you all loads and loads and loads of success.